I have my DMs. You can request to message me on Instagram. If you're kind or you have something to say, even if it's constructive and not hateful, hey, I'll probably respond to you at some point. I can't guarantee when, but I'm going to try my best, especially the loving, nice people. But the people like the person I posted on my community post, like be kind of dumb and message me with your picture and your full name, I'm gonna out you. I don't care if your information, because honestly, if you're gonna message really hateful things like that to me, you deserve it. I'm not encouraging anyone to harass anybody. This is one of the women I saw, like, when he showed me all the DMs he gets and he doesn't reply to. She was like at the top of the list, trying to schmooze up to my husband. And if you are one of these women who desperately try to, yeah, it reeks of desperation. I'm over 350 pounds, but I'm still cuter than you. So I don't know where you get the confidence to hit on my husband, but you need a reality check. All right, so like, as if. And I say that because people love to hate on bigger women. They think that having all this extra fat just automatically makes you an attractive person. You know, like, nope. Because you know what is sexy? Confidence in the bedroom, confidence in life, making each other laugh, having a personality that isn't a hateful crypt keeper bee. What else? Having a baby face. What else? Being pretty. If you have a good face card, and I'm not talking about when I do this, or like, you know, I look ugly sometimes. Everyone does. Come on. Even the most beautiful people. Beyonce got cheated on. What does that tell you? If you have a good face card, it doesn't matter how big you are. I'm telling you. Yeah. Anyways.
Hello. 'Tis I, Fat Cow. You were probably wondering when I was about to pop up. Quite a few things to reply to, isn't there? Well, let's see. Sliding into a married man's DMs screams of desperation. So does calling and messaging a man so many times after a first date, which was basically a petting session in a car that lasted about 15 minutes, and then pestering him and messaging him on all available platforms so much that he decides to ghost you. Screams of desperation. Nicholas, was it? Driving to somebody's house to see if they were in because they didn't answer any of your calls or your messages in a day. In a day. Screams of desperation. He who should not be named. But still, I guess it only counts as desperation if the guy is pretending to be married, because a lot of people are messaging this particular individual that you claim to be married to, don't think you're married, so in their minds they're not messaging a married man. They're messaging somebody who's pretending to be married and therefore offering the chance to him of an actual relationship. Secondly, You saw all his DMs that he doesn't answer. He's not going to show you his DMs that he has answered, is he? Now that would be foolish. It's like me showing you the packet of biscuits I didn't eat, but neglected to tell you I brought 2 packets of biscuits and have already eaten 1 entire packet, and then hid the wrappers. You know, that kind of thing. So, again, right, if Beyonce can get cheated on, what does that say? All that says is Jay-Z is a jerk. That's the only thing it proves, is that Jay-Z is a jerk. Now, the face card. If you've got a pretty face, it doesn't matter how big you are. As someone who was also very big at one point, let me just change the narrative slightly. If you meet someone who has a fetish or a particular lust after bigger bodies, I would argue it doesn't matter what your face looks like. It doesn't actually matter what your personality is either, because you're an object. You'll only exist from the neck down. My experience is, if you are the desired body shape, they couldn't give a shit about what your face looks like or what your interests are. No. Their only concern is what you feel like and whether you wobble and whether you're put out. And what's with all this sassiness? Without the red lipstick, it looks wrong. It doesn't quite, give. And you stuttering at the beginning about the confidence in bed, confidence in the bedroom. You do that when you've written down a script and written down what you've said and then muck it up when you're about to deliver it. You do that quite often because you pre-prepare your insults and you probably practice them a bit and add the sassiness, and then you always muck it up and have to repeat the first bit again because your delivery is wrong and you're a bad actress. Proper insults come from the soul. They're spontaneous. You don't have to plan them. You don't have to think about them. You are either good at roasting people or you're not. And you're not. Also, it's not my place to say whether you're pretty or not. It appears most people don't agree with you. The majority of people don't agree with you, and I'll leave that at that. And people who have sex lives tend to not need to broadcast the fact they have sex lives. And let me just demonstrate something for you. And it's called biology, and it's called physics. Let's just say this is the reproductive entrance of the organ of matrimonial necessity, to quote Stephen Fry. And that part is used in coitus. But let's say that part has to be gotten through all this first to get to it. So you've got all this to go through before you get to that part. That part that is needed for actual coitus. So you've got all this to go through. Okay? To get to this part. But all you've got to reach that part is this. It's not going to reach it. Just isn't going to happen. It is impossible. my intimate life, I mean, yes, I may be 50 years old, but I've definitely had sex. Yes. In my 40s, I had lots of sex. I've definitely had sex this decade. Yes, I've definitely had sex during this decade. I might not have had sex in my 50s, but I haven't abandoned all hope. But still, I am obviously a very sexual being, and you should all be extremely jealous of me. Yes. So despite being old, it's easy to get you know what if you have the confidence. Yeah, no, I can't pull that off. I'm at that age, and this is only my personal opinion of me, that I'm too old to be pretty, but not old enough to be some sort of oracle or mystical figure, you know, the scary witch in the woods kind of thing, which is what I'm aiming for. So, yeah. I'll be back in a minute.
Besides which, my husband has no problem with my body. The only thing is, because I'm diabetic and my health, he does, he does care about my health. He loves me, right? Like you said, like if I didn't love you, I wouldn't care about that at all.
Back again. Sorry about that. When you have as many cats as I do, occurrences like that are relatively frequent. So, Salah cares about your health. That is Salah's way of getting out of doing the deed, or attempting to do the deed. He doesn't want to, make your health worse. It's not an excuse you can argue with, is it? Doesn't want to make your health worse. Oh, he's so kind and caring, and it's got nothing to do with the fact he doesn't desire you whatsoever. He's so sweet. It's a case of not tonight, dear, I've got a headache, but not tonight, dear, you've got a headache.
But he never harasses me about my looks or anything like that, so I know that makes some of you mad.
Not in the slightest. It actually makes me pity you, because if he actually loved you, he would care and would encourage you and almost insist for your own good that you try to sort your health out. At the very least, he'd take you to the effing doctor. So no, it doesn't make me mad. It makes me pity you.
Because you're wrong again about things in our life. But, for example, like, there's one reaction channel. I think you probably know her. She's one of the more popular ones. Scabadabadoo-doo. Her and her audience always love to say, imagine them being intimate like me and my husband. Dude, is anyone going to actually take a minute and imagine what they are like together intimately? Her and her wife, her greasy wife. I'm nauseous. It's giving squishy, okay? So please check yourself.
You've just undid your entire argument because you're now doing ad hominem fallacy again, which is, instead of addressing the actual argument, you're going to deflect it by putting down, degrading and insulting the other person, which is a clear indication that your argument that you tried is false and baseless. Again, people who are in happy relationships and are happily doing their thing don't need to broadcast it repetitively and wiggle their eyebrows as if to say, hoo, we cuddle, hoo. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. The lady doth protest too much. It doesn't matter if Salah actually loved you, sweetheart. What you are suggesting the pair of you do in completion with the organs of matrimonial necessity, let's say, both yours and his, is physically impossible. If your husband was hung like a donkey, then maybe. But he's not.
Even this weirdo who messaged me on Instagram, do you know, since I started my channel, she started out as being a super fan. I remember the name. And then she became the biggest hater. Like,
this keeps happening to you. Throughout your entire YouTube career, some of your biggest supporters turn into your most vocal haters. It happens yearly, multiple times, yearly. No other YouTuber has this phenomenon happen to them, except maybe Amberlynn Reid. A little. Not compared to you. Now you're going to say, well, that's just because of clout and views and money and jealousy. So all these individual personalities that thought you were the bee's knees, but then decide to consider you, the devil incarnate. All these individual personalities decided you are a hateful individual. It's just coincidence. It's just something that happens. Not to anybody else, but something that happens to you. Well, if something keeps happening to you, if everybody around you are arseholes, then maybe you're the arsehole.
and if it's because I'm fat, because you always make fun of my weight, it must be because a big woman is prettier and more confident than you.
Reverse body dysmorphia. That's all I've got to say.